Hey, welcome to Beyond the Forecast, everyone. How are you two doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Not too stressed with this tropical storm that just formed over the over the last couple hours?
Yeah.
Not too stressed. We're okay. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
This
We'll
is
see what happens.
it's the first one of the season that's in that part of the Atlantic, so there's a lot of interest in it. So I get it.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yep.
we've had a lot of these throughout the years, and they always get a lot of interest. So I'm not too surprised. I'm just gonna pull up the satellite here in a moment, but with the location of where the storm has developed, that's where I think more people get concerned about where the storm is sitting. So let's pull up our view of Erin. So it's way to the east right now. It's closer to the African continent than it is towards the Caribbean.
I can't remember the last time a storm formed this far east, too. I feel like it's been a while since we've had really one
been
of
a while.
these
Yeah,
near the
it's
Cabo
been-
Verde Islands, kind of quite like this.
I was looking at the Coriolis force. I had a really strange thought last night when I was eating dinner. I was thinking, if a storm is stronger, could the Coriolis force or the force on the Earth when you have storm systems that cause it to turn to the right, essentially in this case, if the storm is stronger, would the Coriolis force be greater? And I found out that that would not be the case. So I think I had just a strange thought because I feel like when these storms form and they get strong fast, they curve towards Bermuda or they curve out to sea. They don't keep on their westerly track as a Category 3 plus.
Right.
I don't know why that is. I'd like to
Yeah.
see some more
Research.
data on
Digging.
that because I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So, Erin, what is it? 45-mile-an-hour winds, tropical storm. That was
Just
the
got
11 o'clock
going.
update.
It just got going, yeah.
But pretty
Yeah.
fast, though.
Yeah. Oh, and it's moving.
Yeah.
Look at it. West at 20.
Yeah.
That's faster
That's
than they normally
fast
move.
for, this early on.
Yeah, so usually they're moving like 6 miles an hour or something like that.
But they're already cluing in. There's a couple of things, obviously, that you look for when it comes to hurricane development, tropical system development. You want the warm waters. You want weak wind shear. It looks like this storm is going to have that environment going forward. And that's why they've already got the cone going out till Friday of
Friday.
getting into
I
a
think we
cat
had Saturday.
Yeah.
There you
it
go,
goes into
Saturday.
There
We get
we
to a
go.
major
Cat 3
hurricane.
storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so likely our first hurricane of the season. So that's
Yes.
interesting. And then probably a major hurricane at
They're
the
pretty-
rate that they're predicting it to be.
It seems like they're pretty confident, the National
Yeah.
Hurricane Center is at least, that the criteria is going to be met for
Mm-hmm.
development.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. We have
Yep.
warm waters.
It's
It's
been
been
warm, yeah.
incredibly warm. So it has a lot of energy. It's just going to be moving through the ocean. There's nothing that is in its way.
You have the steering with the Bermuda High. It looks like over the
Mm-hmm.
next few days, it'll be pretty much just to the north, kind of steering this thing westward. And then
Yep.
when it gets, southwest of Bermuda, then there's that question mark because we get into that really long range track then of like, where does it go? How close can it get to the East Coast? It's going to be one of these storms. I feel like with a lot of main development region storms where it's kind of like it's a waiting game.
Yeah, it is. But I find it interesting that even this far out, a lot of the spaghetti plots that we look at, a lot of them had it turning towards
There's a good
Bermuda.
consensus.
Yeah, a really good consensus. Normally it looks super messy
Mm-hmm.
when you get that far out, but there's a really good consensus that it'll continue to, once it gets past being just to the east of Puerto Rico, turn up towards Bermuda.
I just want to let everyone know on Facebook we are streaming, so if you have a question,
Yeah.
put it in. I finally got that pulled up here. So we can answer some of the questions. I think the question is it going to hit Hampton Roads? I think that's going to be the leading
Right.
question. So should we just get into that?
I think,
sure.
we could get into that because I feel like naturally that's the first thing on everyone's
I'm
mind.
going on
Right.
the full 3 box here, so everyone's face is big. Who wants to take the first call of where it's going to go?
I'm going to say as
Not
of,
touching it.
it's really far out still.
Yeah, it
so
is.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those things where it's a waiting game. We won't know, like even, Saturday 8 a.m. National Hurricane Center has it as a Cat 3. They're, it's on
Yep.
the cone. They're pretty confident that this thing is going to strengthen potentially up to a Cat 3. Here's the spaghetti models.
Yep, GFS based.
Look how it kind of starts to widen out once it gets kind of
Fans.
south of Bermuda. That's why, I think it's way too early to call.
It is.
Is this thing going to hit Hampton Roads? Is it going to get close to Hampton Roads?
It could.
Is it going to go up the East Coast? Looking pretty possible, but
It
how
could.
close? We can't say
Right.
that just yet.
But
Yeah.
we don't know.
Because here's the
Right.
thing: a difference in the track right now could mean the difference of hundreds of miles down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you look at this area here, and that can mean a whole different situation.
Way different ballgame.
Than, as all the viewers know, than that track up there. So
Yeah.
that's a totally different situation.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, we all have a track that we probably wanted to take. Most of us would stay out to sea, but there's a perfect track that I believe the Storm needs to take. It's a perfect track, and Brian and me know what this track is.
I knew you were going to say
So
this.
it would be this track right
Keep
here.
it away from
Yeah.
Bermuda.
Yep, away
But
from Bermuda.
in between Bermuda and the Outer Banks, if you are a surfer, this is the Storm to be watching very closely.
Yes.
Yeah,
And there's-
and it's going to be
Today.
by the surfing championships. The East Coast Surfing
unbelievable.
Championships will be
ECSE,
happening at that time too.
If it lines up right, there could be some of the best waves that ECSC's ever gotten. It
Could
could
be.
be. It just depends on the timing. It really does. It's
Could
going to
be.
depend on the timing.
Yeah, and these things are going to change a lot.
There's
So-
also, when it gets, west of Bermuda, kind of getting up towards the mid-Atlantic, there's a lot of things that tropical systems start to undergo with interactions with the jet stream. Those storms start to move so much quicker. So not only do we need for surfers, not only do we need the track to line up, we need the storm speed to not be too quickly, because if it's, in and out, you got a 1-day swell. If it's slower, you can maybe drag that out a little longer.
One thing I have noticed, and when we look at these models here, now we're looking at deterministic models here.
Yeah.
These have sped the storm up. The Euro is picking up on the GFS. The GFS says this thing's going to be, if it stays offshore at least, it's going to be moving by Tuesday,
I think it's
Wednesday
also
next week.
It's important
Yeah.
to note with these models, the deterministic ones, they change multiple times a day.
4 times a day.
4 times so it's very important to you're going to go through social media a lot in the next week and see different pictures of what could happen with this storm based on the model run. So just take a lot of things with a grain of salt. If you see one run maybe slamming into the East Coast, that's not set in stone to happen. It's
Right.
only one run. We need to find trends. Right now we're at the point where we're just looking for trends. We're looking
Yep.
for consistency in the model. One outcome that is showing up more than other outcomes.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for when it comes to us determining where's this thing going to go.
Right.
We need to see the confidence needs to go up. And how do you do that? You need to see multiple runs kind of agreeing with each other, not just in one model, but a bunch of the models. The GFS, the Euro, a lot of the ensembles have to be on board.
Yeah, I mean, we're really not going to see any impacts if we see anything from this until another week from
Exactly.
now.
There's so
Yes.
much time.
So you're not going to know what are those impacts for Hampton Roads until we get closer to the weekend. I mean, it's only Monday.
I think the
Yeah.
best thing for people to do if you have a generator, just fire it up, make sure it's all working fine.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's kind of one thing to do. Like do the hurricane preparedness things that you might do at the beginning of the season. Maybe go through that checklist once again.
Yeah.
Check to see how everything is locking on your house. If you were to, let's say we were going to get strong winds from a storm, which we might get later this season, how is that storm door? Is that storm door kind of loose and the latch is broken and it's going to fly open and shatter? How are the windows? Are they sealing okay? Go through those kind of things because you have a whole week at the shortest amount of time, or you have several months at the longest amount of time, where you can make sure that those things are secure. So I would just do the general once over on the house or your apartment, wherever you live. Make sure things are
Yeah.
looking okay.
the basic hurricane prep.
Yep.
The things
Yeah.
that we talk about every spring.
Yeah.
Right.
Double check it.
You
Yep.
have those kits that
Yeah.
people always talk about. We always mention that and everything.
Maybe do it. Yeah.
Pretty easy to put together.
Because I know people put like the candy bar in the kit, and usually
Right.
you say, "I'm hungry, I'm eating the candy bar now." Put the new candy bar back in. there,
Yeah, yeah,
freshen it
Yeah,
back up.
exactly.
Touch up on the know your zone.
Yeah.
Not that something is imminent right now, but it just helps later down the road instead of freaking out last second and just doing a big Google search of everything last minute. Do it ahead of time. That way you can
Yep.
just focus on the forecast when that time does come.
Yeah, so at this point, just kind of knowing your flood zone is what Brian was talking about. Just kind of checking over your house, maybe just doing a quick once over. That's it. You don't need to be going to the supermarket to buy anything special yet.
Right.
Anything like that. We're not at that point yet. I met father and daughter yesterday at the grocery store, and I had a grocery cart full of stuff, and it was no reason connected to the storm.
No.
I wanted to get some deals because that back to school kind of specials going on at the grocery store. They kind of have some
Yep,
some specials
yep.
of their own. So
Yeah.
I was taking advantage of those
Take
deals.
advantage.
Hey, you gotta save money whenever you can.
Right.
So Sabrina, we should just wait and see. Don't go clearing out the grocery store yet. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
definitely
So,
not.
Yeah, not yet.
Definitely not. No
Um,
need for it.
The bread aisle was kind of wiped out for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, the thing is, I have this coupon for a free loaf of bread because I got a bad loaf of bread a couple weeks ago.
Jeff talks about this probably once a week.
Yeah,
he
I'm not gonna
had
say
a
who-
rough one.
I'm not going to say what company gave me the bad loaf of bread, but it was a bad loaf of bread, and I have a coupon for a free loaf, and I said I'll give him one more chance. The bread has been sold out every time, so I don't know. But
Kroger in Virginia Beach. Well, actually, there's many Krogers. The
Yeah,
one I
there's
go to in
Krogers.
Virginia Beach, it's been pretty stocked up with bread. So if you need some bread, I got
Okay.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
give me a
I know a
loaf.
place.
We're just going to go to a commercial break after this. We're going to do a quick break, and then we're going to talk about these two deterministic models and a new model that I want everyone to
Yeah.
see. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a little bit. Hey, welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. So we're going to look at some of the deterministic models. These are the models that basically say this is what the weather is going to be like on this day, and that's the way it's going to be. And they update every 4 hours. So let's go back to our view. We had this going into the break. This is the GFS. This and just one thing to say too, Brian, you were mentioning this when we were taking a quick break. The GFS and the Euro are green.
The
at
deterministic
Sunday.
models, basically Sunday morning, going up till Sunday early morning.
Yeah.
The GFS and the Euro are pretty much locked together. Like they both have a very similar picture painted as to what's going to happen. This thing being south of Bermuda, the intensity the timing and track are pretty much locked together. The intensity is a little bit different, I believe. I'm looking at it here personally, but the GFS looks a little stronger than the Euro.
I think so.
It's
yeah.
going to be that's another thing. The intensity, that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah,
We will
that's
really
really
not know.
hard to do
That's
that.
so hard to do
Right.
that, especially with what's the potential for rapid intensification, things like that. That we won't really know of too close in detail just yet. But I think it's going to be important to look at what the steering pattern is and.
Yeah.
We're looking at these deterministic models to see, okay, are they both on point with the timing and the intensity? Go till, Sunday morning.
Yep.
So
same spot, basically.
there it is. That's Sunday early morning. Back it up a little bit, a tiny bit. That's fine. That's fine. Now
Okay.
switch over to the GFS.
Okay, I got to load it. I got to get my two models, and I'll be able to do that back and forth tomorrow when we do this at 3:00.
But see how they're like
They're in the same spot.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday-ish? They're
Yeah.
basically in the same. That's a good amount of agreement that this thing is going to be basically
It is.
south of Bermuda by the weekend.
So GFS on this run, which run is this? This is the
Should be
12Z.
the 12Z run.
12Z run. So
Euro's
this is
still the 6.
The morning run, the morning run says it's going to be towards Bermuda. Into Tuesday, the Euro, same spot, roughly Sunday morning. And then as we go in time through Monday and into Tuesday, a little
like
slower.
Little slower.
Little slower.
But also a
slower,
little bit more west.
more west.
Yeah.
Tiny bit more west.
Yes.
That's more that track that you guys were looking for between
For the
Bermuda
for surfing.
and
Get
North
a little
Carolina.
close, though.
This is
It is, yeah.
you don't want it too close,
Right,
obviously.
right.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
then it gets to not even talking about impacts, but if you're trying to get in the water and surf, this is too dangerous too.
Yeah.
You get closer to that storm and it starts getting big
And windy, too.
and windy.
Yeah, it's
it
too
gets
windy.
a little rough.
Ocean overwash could be a concern if that solution happened.
I think either way, ocean overwash, whether it's
Yeah, that's true.
if it even goes east of Bermuda, I think it's still ocean overwash, something we're gonna have to watch.
So the kind of
Yeah.
question Danielle is asking, will this be headed towards southeastern Virginia Beach? We don't know yet.
It's
What
too close.
What
It's
we
too
know
far out.
is where it's going on this cone. That's where we pretty much know.
The confidence is pretty high.
Yes.
Within this cone right now, there's some pretty decent confidence with the two our major models right now
Yep.
that this thing is going to be continuing to head west. It's going to be south of Bermuda by the weekend, maybe just north of Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles.
Yep.
So
That's
I
what
think
we know
that's
so
where,
far.
That's what we definitely know of.
One thing that I wanted to show here, because this is kind of fun. How are we doing on time here? We're at a good 10 minutes or so to go. I wanted to show you the new model that has been worked on, and I don't know how long it's been developed, but this is from Google. This is their weather lab. So this is looking at a ensemble forecast at Erin. So it's kind of like our GFS, it's kind of like our Euro, but it's a new experimental model. And you can see with time, this is Friday right here. We're going to pause it. This is Friday.
Notice how the confidence is really consistent until it gets south of Bermuda. That's why
Yes.
we're saying we can't really say for sure what's going to happen once it eventually makes that turn to the north, if it makes that turn to the north, because look how wide it gets. It starts to fan out.
it starts to fan out. It fans out, I would say probably, because we were saying Sunday, right?
Sunday, I think
Yeah.
that was like the last day of like the real good agreement.
This says it's a Category 1 Sunday north of Puerto Rico. So the intensity is less
Than some
the
of
other
our other
models.
ones. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Something to note.
Does that mean anything?
No.
No.
Not this far out.
Doesn't mean anything. Longer term, you can see just the general trend line. The storm gets a little bit stronger. That's Monday right here.
Yeah, now
we're
Cat
going
3.
into Tuesday, Category 3. Now we're heading to Wednesday, and then back down to Cat 2. It kind of goes back and forth. 3 back to 2, and then off it goes Thursday and now Friday.
I think one thing that we can kind of definitely say are the ingredients there for tropical development. Yes, I think so. The water temperatures are well into the 80s down there. There hasn't been any storms in that area of the Atlantic really so far this season to upwell any cool water. So it's kind of just been sitting there. We're going to have that Bermuda high steering this thing to the west. The wind shear looks pretty weak in the upper levels as we go through the next 5 days while it's tracking across the Atlantic. So that could be good for thunderstorm development kind of near the center, which hurricanes need to thrive. They are essentially an engine of tropical systems, of thunderstorms.
Christy, do you want to describe wind shear just so people know what it means?
Now you're putting me on the spot. Make sure I know my
I'm putting you on the
meteorology,
spot,
right? No. So wind shear, that's the different speeds and directions that the wind is going in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So you really notice a lot more wind shear when we're talking about a system like a tropical system going on land. That's why we see a lot of those spin up tornadoes and things that happen like that. But when it's over the water, you're seeing the difference in that wind shear that makes a difference on the intensity of the storm.
Just
as it's
kind of
tracking
acts to
and-
rip apart a storm too. If you have too
Right.
much, essentially you want to think.
You have to have a sweet spot for the right development.
You don't want that
Yeah.
for hurricanes to form, you want them to be able to grow tall in their own space. If you have wind shear, you essentially take that hurricane as you go up and you're tilting the storm a certain way, which for hurricane formation is not good. You want that area of low pressure in that centralized area. You don't want to tilt the storm at all for hurricanes to form.
Right. A couple of questions here, and then we're going to do a quick break. One from Becky. This is, I believe, this was written when we were looking at the European model, saying that track brings some bands into the area, which it would. Outer bands, rain
Depending
bands.
on the size, of course.
Now,
of
the storm is still well
Right.
to the east, so
Yeah.
we're getting just showers moving through and some wind moving through.
Maybe a little
so
bit of wind.
Those bands are okay.
Yeah.
Those are not the
we can
bad
handle
bands.
those.
Those are on the other side.
But still,
Right.
that's impacts nonetheless.
It
It's
would be,
heavy rain
yeah.
that you would have to worry about. It's maybe some brief gusty winds you'd have to worry about
Yes.
too. Definitely not going to the beach if that's the case.
No, it's not great
Right.
weather.
Right. It's
No.
just nasty, you know?
But it's fine weather. It's not going to
Right.
be a
It's
big
nothing we can't handle.
Right.
Yeah.
So nothing to be alarmed of if it is that far, but still sending us maybe a few showers.
And then one more here. One model, this is from JL. I see one model that has it hitting the North Carolina coast. The key thing about that statement is you saw one model.
Right.
one single model.
And when we look at the view of the storm, and I just want to go on this before we go to break, the best model to use for long range are the ensemble models that paint a picture of several different models, 20-some models that run, and you get a consensus off of that.
But it's also
So that's the best
important.
way to look at
It's
it.
important to also know to learn what does it mean when the spaghetti plots start to diverge from each other.
Yes.
That means you're getting less confidence. There's more unknown factors as to where the storm's going to go. So it's really important to kind of think of this as the further you go out, the more question marks arise.
Right.
Yep.
Which is why we say don't worry about it right now. We'll, of course, continue to monitor and keep you updated in all of our newscasts and here now that we're live every day.
Cool. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more coming up on the weather for tonight with this heavy rain coming up. Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. So the weather for tonight, it's all about rainfall. We will be watching Erin, of course, as we go into the next couple of days, but we're going to keep an eye on this heavy rainfall because there is some heavy rain that's popping up across our area. There already is
Even a flash flood warning, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Virginia Beach, Chesapeake,
Yep.
Got some heavy rain moving
until
through for sure.
5:45.
Yes, till 5:45. So this is just the past hour. You can see on Super Doppler 10.
Slow moving storms.
Yeah, slow-moving
Yeah.
storms definitely that are coming up from the south. That's going to be a problem also around areas into Chesapeake near Great Bridge and Deep Creek, Suffolk too. We'll see how this develops. So this is going to be kind of interesting tonight. What have you seen so far today, Christy? Because you did the last newscast.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it really just kind of blew up over the Albemarle Sound, and now it's making its way into South Side. And it looked like a lot of that rain, like we were talking about slow movers, they kind of have to rain themselves out, which is where we have that flooding concern, where we're already seeing some of that flooding that is developing. And it's going to be kind of rough for some areas on that commute home. So just keep that in mind. It looks like a lot of these showers that we see should be kind of out of here later this evening around 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, they'll eventually
Okay.
start to
Yeah.
rain themselves. Look at the outflow boundary,
So
too.
tonight it should be decently dry, but then we've got a couple more days where we've got some rain chances in there too.
Were you seeing a severe risk at all?
No, I wasn't looking at anything severe. Just worried about that flooding with heavy downpours.
Here's a look at the future radar. This is just the HRR model. So this has that rain kind of pushing to the north and west, but it's kind of following what you were just saying. So there's rain moving in. There's
It's not
rain-
for everybody either. That's the important thing.
Right.
I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be okay. So just that flash flood warning that's in effect right now. So this is something that I noticed as we look at the excessive rainfall outlook for the next couple of days. It's not just for tonight. Tomorrow, not as much, but later on this week, it seems like there's a lot more chances for these slow-moving storms again, and that's kind of part of this time of year. The precipitable water, or how much water is in the atmosphere in that column of air. There's a lot of it. So we get these slow-moving storms that pop up, and we get these flooding chances, and it tends to happen. It floods fields, or it floods a street, or kind of a local sidewalk, something like that.
Yeah.
Not a major impact usually.
Right.
Sometimes it can be. If this
Yeah.
hits downtown, it's a big deal because cars can flood out.
Yeah.
Also, we were talking about like shear earlier and how like you kind of need those, upper level winds can kind of help to blow storms around, and in some ways in tropical systems it works to inhibit them, but when it comes to thunderstorms, if we don't have any wind shear aloft, you're not going to have very fast moving storms. That's kind of what we have here. The winds aloft aren't very strong. We don't have any
right.
large scale systems moving through to help push these storms along. So these are just going to be things that, like you said, rain themselves out.
Yeah, so here's the local view for the south side for tonight, just the future track, showing that rain fading away in the next couple of hours, and it even clears us out. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think we're going to still have some clouds that'll stick around overnight.
I think we'll be dry. We'll be drier though by 8, 9 o'clock.
I mean, there will be that subsidence at clearing, but there might be some overhead clouds that might linger until at least 10.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have something there. Overnight, you can see it's pretty quiet. Tomorrow, though, there we are in the early afternoon.
Yep.
Could
More
be
stuff.
Yeah, it could be
Yep.
right in the early afternoon, maybe a little sea breeze, kind of get some convergence going near the coastline, and quick downpour. And again, it's going to be one of those things. They
Yep.
just pop up, they rain themselves out, and they're done.
Yep. Not everybody sees rain, but
Exactly.
keep the
Right.
rain gear on hand. Have an
Totally.
umbrella by. Might need to use it at some point in the next few days.
Yep, might need to use it. I have a new telescope that's coming, and when you the old saying in astronomy is whenever you get a new telescope, you're cloudy for days or at least a week. So it was supposed to be clear like today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
Not
It looked like a couple
anymore.
days ago when I ordered the telescope, and then now it's totally cloudy. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this thing's just gonna stay in the box. But I
It'll be
guess
Can't
okay.
break it out. Jeff is upset, everyone.
yeah, well, it's good because I was going to pull an all-nighter, and I don't need to be doing that with
No.
Erin. That's in our forecast, Tropical Storm Erin. So coming up on our newscast at 4, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be doing Beyond the Forecast every day, weekday at 3 o'clock. You can join us here on Facebook Live. So just join us here. If you have questions about whatever is going on in our weather, this is the place to talk about and post it. We can see your questions, and we can see what's going on. 3 seconds left. Someone has a cruise that's heading out on Sunday to the Bermudas. Any thoughts? You're going to have to watch that really, really close. We'll be back tomorrow.